fans in the chat. I mean, fair enough. MNM and Org, though, God, I think ever since I first got into casting a particular MOBA that people may well know, MNM were an org that I knew in the UK scene from back then. They then followed me into another game, and then here in Siege as well. I'm like, to have seen them over 5.5 years and know the guys behind the scenes that like run the operation, I'm so excited for them to make it. But at the same time, don't want to be like, yeah, nah, screw HellRaisers. It's all about MNM.
Absolutely not.
Both deserve it.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a soft spot towards MNM given that history.
Well, the thing is, it's just about completion of a journey almost, isn't it? You know, if you look back at MNM's journey inside of Siege, you know, from the very early days of sort of LAN tournaments in the UK and things, our voices are over the top of it. You know, we've seen them come all the way through as an org. We've seen them make it and, you know, the roster move on to other organisations and, you know, in a position whereby they could do that again and get themselves into a UL. It would, of course, be great to see, but it would also be wonderful to see HellRaisers there, you know, seeing them storm through the Russian Major League as Chalet and then get themselves under the HellRaisers banner and do it once again here in Challenger League. There's just such a fantastic story on both sides of the table.
I love that band. The Wamai band coming out. Look back at what HellRaisers have played quite a bit across, especially in Coastline, but also a bit in Club. We saw a bit of Goyo, Wamai, and Jaeger as a whole trio. That being the kind of cursed trifecta of operators that really cemented the utility meta that we sat in last year. And I think banning that away here just reduces the likeliness that you're going to see shields being played as much. You'll still see them get picked up, but players will be a lot quicker to back away from them and step into more comfortable positions. Because when you've only got the Jaeger to protect a shield, grenades are going to come singing in from the other side. And sure enough, HellRaisers have already lent into bringing 6, the Iana, the Finker, and the Maverick all bringing along the frags. It's going to get a little bit dicey if you're MNM here, and they've got to be so careful.
MNM going to be kicking things off on the defence to begin with. Round 1, we're going to be heading to bar and gaming, so you're likely to see plenty of attention to the top floor, both from attackers and defenders. It may well be that MNM try to hold directly onto Library and the mezzanine area. It may well be that they drop themselves a little bit deeper and play the defence coming in from office and piano side, or a combination of the two. Now we'll see how they go. The way things are setting up, I would expect to see a player on mezzanine. I would expect to see a player potentially over in piano and office. We'll see as the defence develops, of course, but really they need to be able to impact upon and keep control of Library, particularly important. Those are where the vertical angles will come from on this site. That is where HellRaisers will want to just sort of rain down that terror onto the defenders down inside a site.
And in case people are curious, you know, why do you expect to see something on mezzanine? Why do you see a shield at the top of Library stairs? It's because it gives you a wonderful crossfire onto this sort of central point inside of the Library hallway, where attackers can't comfortably push down into Library hallway without being challenged by the shield off to the left. They can't get close because of the player on Mez, and the player on the mezzanine can challenge from that shield up until the single window that looks in towards Library. Exactly like you can see now. Very fortunate for MNM to not lose a life there, because Exodus right at that window just as MNM were repositioning the shield.
Heads up play from HellRaisers there, just getting themselves in extremely quickly. MNM have not positioned anybody beyond the mezzanine or the Library corridor. They've not played themselves out into piano and offices. As you can see, HellRaisers have moved across from Solarium extremely quickly. So Solotov is going to be in a very important position at the top of Library stairs there to try and just prevent this push that's coming through from HellRaisers, because they are absolutely flying at the minute.
And what they've gone for here is the normal go-to as well. Get yourself control of office, and then you can look to swing through there and get nades into this player playing on Library stairs. Once he's gone, it becomes a lot easier to clear onto mezzanine. So there's a number of mini games that you have to play here to make this work. And the mission being smoked out is going to have to drop off the ledge. Can't step across to the right, otherwise the player on mezzanine would have seen him. Grenade comes in, no shield is there, and Smash gets the entry. Well done by HellRaisers to start the round.
Very well played. Solotov doing well though to force a mission back, give him a little bit of damage. Users managing to find a little bit of a trade there onto Exodus, leaving us now in a 4 versus 4, and still a lot of work for HellRaisers to do up on the top floor. Tyrant and Users are going absolutely nowhere for the time being. They've got the deployable shield still, they've got the utility that they need in the reinforcements to try and continue to lock down this top floor area, and it just goes to show how important it is. And Tyrant just looks away at the wrong time, but once again it's Users there, able to step out and get that trade. Neo finds Smash, and all of a sudden MNM have got themselves an advantage with only a minute left to go.
I think Emission's also playing on the marksman rifle too, so clearly a HellRaisers team thing rather than an individual player. Both Smash by Ash and Emission using it so far. Is it the new meta we step into? Heaven knows. I really doubt it just from a couple of players, but it does give some food for thought. What I like so far in this round is that on the side of HellRaisers, they're the ones that have made the moves and collected the kills, but immediately, like half a second later, Yuzus balances the books and brings it back to being even. So even though kills have kind of gone to HellRaisers through being proactive, MNM have always equalized, and now they're in a 3 versus 2 with only 22 seconds left on the clock.
That's it. It's easy now for MNM to just burn those seconds one at a time, hold their angles. Emission and Flares trying to work their way in, but finding absolutely nothing here. I don't think Flares is going to have a realistic opportunity to put that diffuser down. He does not, as he's cut down in sight by Nello. Neo finishes things off for MNM, and that's going to be the first defensive round going to the UK side.
Nice little trade, well, also trade, but a crossfire coming out there at the end of the 2 versus 1. Good, convincing round, and I almost want to reflect that Chalet generally has been an attacker-leaning map, even before we've got into the real sort of attacker-leaning meta that we're in right now. So you would expect it to be at least 3-3, if not a little bit better towards the attackers, you know, a 4-2, maybe even a 5-1 potentially coming in. Baron Gaming is considered the best defensive site, so to start there for MNM to get a win, that's kind of expected. If they can double down on this and get 2-3 defensive rounds, suddenly things are looking excellent for them here on Chalet. And with how well that first round went, I'll be quite confident coming into future rounds.
Going to be heading up to the top floor for round 2 then. Master and Office. Solitov bringing along the castle this time. Always fascinating to see where those castle barricades are used. We're going to see one on the office door. We're going to see one on the piano window. And this is all about securing sight and just preventing those external angles being used. Solitov likely going to the double window, I would guess, and potentially bathroom window. We'll see whether that is where the 4th and final one goes or not. Of course, Castle getting that increase from 3 barricades to 4 recently. Actually going to drop downstairs, and we'll keep an eye out for where that 4th and final one ends up.
So a good look at it, see as things develop into this round then. So as we're just about to come out of the prep phase and straight into the action phase, there's that interesting little like change coming in for Castle potentially as well. You've seen it where it's like it instantly destroys barricades as well.
Yes,
so
it destroys the barricade, but not the glass, I don't think.
Yes, which is going to be very saucy if it does come to light. We'll see on that front as well. I think you'll probably see quite a lot of Kai being brought along on this map, it's worth mentioning, because we've already seen HellRaisers use it across the, I think it was across on Coastline a number of times. They may well deploy it out here on Chalet. You've also got MNM looking to do it. What I want to see is a Snowmobile site at some point and see players make use of that table up inside the dining. It's caught a couple of teams out. We saw it at the Sweden Major. I'd love to see it get employed again.
How quickly Russia's got himself inside a site here.
Living up to his name.
Sorry, inside of the map. He's got himself straight in through library, and he's got numbers coming with him as well. Confident here, HellRaisers, that they're able to freely move into mezzanine and start taking out the reinforcement on the office wall. The default plant spot, of course, being just inside of there, behind that half wall that you can see on the bulletproof camera there. The Maverick will not be impeded by any electricity. He's going to burn off that reinforcement, and then it'll just be a soft breach that will be needed to take it down. But it does not disappear, and it suggests that something has been missed. And the problem is, if it's at the far side, he might just need to expose himself to go across and get it.
Thinks it's the middle that he might have missed, but I don't think it is here. I mean, elsewhere, it's Yuzus getting a kill onto Exodus to kick things off. If that wall stays closed, though, that's a massive problem because they were relying on this being opened up. I don't think they know where it is, but I guarantee you it's going to be the smallest slither of wall.
It'll be over on the right-hand side.
It's going to be the smallest slither of wall somewhere that's really starting to slow them down.
This is it. You've got to get certain points of the reinforcement to take them down, and it's like the support struts at either side, as well as across the entire distance, and it is certainly proving to be a bit of a problem. He's just going to take out that entire side and try to... There you go. I said it'd be on that right-hand side, didn't I? It looks like it was down at the bottom, potentially. But either way, they've got the wall open. That's not a bad start. He's just going to open up a little peak hole, potentially for explosives to go in through there, or for lines of sight to be held as well. And they start to work on softening up the site.
Losing a couple of these frags out to ADSs that are tucked in, but now with those burnt through, they can start swinging in those lethal explosives. One in towards the back of Piano, I thought might catch onto the defender that sat behind it, but no. Emission looking to push his way in towards Piano, is looking to contest the longer angle. Pulls back ever so slightly with 2 of the players off to his right-hand side, looking for a go through the breach. You got Smash on the bathroom window, daring this man that stood at the top side of Piano to push his way back through bathroom to feel a little bit more safe, and surely that could be a freebie.
Russia's got himself into the plant spot here, but but he will not be the planter. It is Flares that has the diffuser in hand. We get a Nitro coming out from Users, but Smash finds himself 2 from that window, and it's now 2 versus 2 as Tyrant manages to get the trade, and this is all going off in the final 15 seconds. Smoke canister has been deployed, but look at that angle from Tyrant. Just takes the head off Flares as he tries to move in, and that puts the diffuser down cold in no man's land. Tyrant with another at the end of the round, and MNM, they take themselves a second successful defense, and that gives them now a 2-0 scoreline.
Massive there from Tyrant at the end. I really thought HellRaisers might have just about done enough to get themselves in a position to plan and get away with that. But no, big couple of kills in the close from Tyrant, and brilliant recoil control as well. Basically a direct laser on that Roni. Looks incredible to see. Round 3 then will be in kitchen and dining, so not seeing the offsite stepping down into Snowmobile. Some teams, especially in APAC, have lent into it. We've seen it a little bit in NA a couple of times in Europe. But here is said kitchen and dining going to be where the defense comes in. Castle being 6th picked in, same as in the prior round. Keen to see where all 4 of those armor panels go down, Tim.
Exactly that. We kept an eye on it last time around, and it was impactful, but not too much so. HellRaisers were able to deal with a few of them that they needed for the angles, but were also able to sort of circumvent them really just by playing in from mezzanine, but ultimately not able to get the round regardless. MNM going to be heading to their 3rd choice site, which is going to be down in dining and kitchen. Bulletproof camera being brought along. Of course, we have seen the changes to those bulletproof cameras. They are now movable for starters, whereas it used to be a fixed position, and they've also got the EMP blast that we haven't really seen too much use of.
Well, we saw it disable a Rotero in the last one, Tim.
Yep, we did.
I quite enjoyed that.
I know that you did.
I was just impressed that he managed to hit it. I was like, fair play.
But yeah, we haven't seen too much use of it so far.
Yes. Some teams, and I think we saw this, I want to say it was in Quals when we did the little like mess around stream for SI. Some teams were bringing along 3 bulletproofs around because those EMPs they're not as broken, I think, as the timeline might have you think, but they are still strong and very valuable.
They're absolutely
The fact they can be moved around in itself is a massive addition, I think, to what you already have.
He's going to get him.
Surely, no, it's not. A bit uncharacteristic for Users to not hit a shot like that as well. We know what he's like with his kills so far throughout CL, but a good attempt and some damage.
He is on the UMP, to be fair.
No excuse. Headshots instant kill. Did get a bit of damage down at range either way, so not a bad start, and it's going to slow Exodus down only briefly. And here he is now back and trying to get his way inside of West Main.
That's it, just putting the nerd on to clear that barricade out and have people thinking now that Neo, he's got himself established on trophy stairs here, but there is a man on the upside down rappel of Solarium, so he just needs to be careful that he doesn't overexpose himself. We can see Rush just holding a tight angle there. Does have a nade in pocket as well, so there is the potential to use that, and we've got the vertical angle coming there just to burn out any potential utility that could protect against that nade. Solotov manages to find the kill onto there we go, onto Smash, but Exodus finding Neo and clearing off the Solarium stairs very nicely. And what a view we had of that. We've switched observers now. It's not medics, it's Easy who's coming in for map 3 and 4, I believe, and doing a great job of just catching Neo being caught out there and just showing how teamwork can clear out them Solarium stairs.
Teamwork, teamwork, teamwork. We spoke about this a bit earlier on today with the fast-paced push coming out of HellRaisers into Hookah and Billiards. We've already seen it. Why not keep on doubling down on that where possible? 4 versus 4 things sit at then as we're about halfway through the round. It's definitely far from reaching its later round conclusion. I think Emission has got his eyes on getting up this or getting the double window opened up. A number of teams saying that really there isn't a massive leaning towards playing this east or northeast side of the map because of this window. It's incredibly powerful, but it's not so powerful when you're being shot off it by Solotov in record time. Emission trying to do what he can, but MNM have the 4v3 numbers advantage.
Right now, MNM just look like they've kicked it up a gear here, Des. They're not only keeping pace with HellRaisers, they just, for me, feel like they're in charge. They're the ones that are pushing forward. They're the ones that are always aggressive in here. It's 3 versus 3, 59 seconds left to go, and we've still got Solotov playing on this upstairs position, looking to hold down the vertical. Doesn't want to give it up, but is going to be challenged very soon. He's got Tyrant in support as well, though, and if these two can hold on for MNM here, it could be round winning. Solotov gets shut down, but they've no idea about Tyrant, who finds flares and puts the diffuser down on the ground, meaning HellRaisers are going to need to go in and pick up that briefcase, and it could be deadly.
Got to do some work in this last 30 seconds here. These two, Rush and Exodus, need to get a bit of a wiggle on. I think he's waiting for Exodus to get into position before Rush goes on his push forward. Tyrant still around Piano, sees the man opening up the window, but can't quite find him and almost loses his life. Gets pushed by Rush, living up to his name, gets into a key position. Now Nello has got to hold out. No smoke canisters in the back pocket, but diffuser's still down on the ground. They're dropping in for kills. Nello with a great shot. It's a 1 versus 1. Exodus swings round, but Nello clutches it out. MNM make it 3 in a row.
I said it earlier, I will say it again, and I'm sure I will repeat it before this this day is done. Nello is one of the best site players that I have seen inside a Siege, and he just proves exactly why. You know, if it comes down to one man left on site for MNM, it's going to be Nello, and you just know that he is aware of every single angle, where the drop will come, where the push is likely to come, and he just dances around site so brilliantly at times that final kill, there wasn't even a challenge onto him because he'd moved his angle of attack, because he'd come round and he'd switched it up, and he just keeps those attackers guessing, and another round one out. I dare say there's been quite a few today where Nello just closes things out in sight for MNM.
Scary thing now for me, Tim, is that we've seen 3 sites and all of them have been won by MNM, meaning they now get the full site rotation, can just repeat it again and dole out the double damage onto the side of HellRaisers. They're the ones who are going to be forced to find a response. They've got to do something a little bit different, keep MNM guessing and reach deep to try and find a response to what HellRaisers might throw at them. But something tells me this is going to be the map that we don't see a 3-3 half.
It's certainly looking that way. I can't see that MNM will go without picking up another round here on the defence. The other thing to remember here is that MNM, if they win Chalet, then have an opportunity to close out this entire matchup. There will be 2-1 on maps, and it is the first to 3 maps that will be heading into EUL. And this is not good for HellRaisers right now, because they face the prospect of going into Villa, albeit their own map choice. They'll be heading into Villa potentially, having been beaten up on Chalet, and that is not ideal when you're also on the back foot in terms of the overall scoreline, and you know that Villa is a must-win. And, you know, we talk about whose pick was that map. It was HellRaisers' pick, but in a best of 5, we're coming right towards the end of the wire at that point. You're picking what's left. You're not picking things through choice at that point.
Yep. So as you say, it just wears on more and more. You get more of those middle ground maps where the hated ones have been banned, the liked ones have been played, and it's just set in somewhere in the middle from there. Let's see how the defense plays out. It's going to be a similar one to what we saw back in round number 1, where the setup is on mezzanine and inside a library, and therefore the focus from HellRaisers is going to be to nade out these players, to force them back. It's almost like you're seeing an exact replica of the first round, where the focus has been bucking open those walls, getting into key positions, and looking to do some damage. There are 2 Frostmats waiting for Rush. Now, the big question to me is whether or not he's aware of them, or at least cautious enough. Solotov on a swing, gets put down in the dirt. Yes, Smash is injured, but he's recoverable, of course, playing on the Finker. She can now self-res herself by using that gadget when she's down on the ground. So back up she comes, grenades are back in hand, and HellRaisers can carry on like nothing ever happened.
It was a nice attempt from Solotov, trying to get aggressive and take the initiative, but ultimately HellRaisers were ready for it, just doubling down on that push coming through Piano. Now then Tyrant inside a library. He's going to play his life for as long as he can, but he's ready next to that hatch, maybe just to try and hit one on the fadeaway as he drops down there, but he certainly is ready to drop. Users just holding the angle from the basement stairs up onto the double window of office balcony there, just looking to catch anybody out, because if they come through there, of course, there's double Frostmats. They have to be shooting as they come through, but it doesn't look like HellRaisers are going to push that angle. So 1 minute left to go. MNM, they just need to hold on for another 20-30 seconds and then try to start picking up some kills.
Absolutely. The more time runs down, the more stressful it gets for HellRaisers. They've got what they need in terms of the vertical control, it feels, but not necessarily the insight into the site itself to start making any kind of pressure happen. Looking towards the hatch, as teams so often do, to try and clear out split. This little back room that you can see Smash staring into right now. They want to make sure no one's sat on site, but it's Tyrant to strike first. And here comes the MNM Revolution, pushing their way back up these library stairs and looking to collect those who try and hang on them from above.
Rush manages to find Tyrant in a late trade there, but with only 30 seconds left to go, Users could play spoiler to this party on the flank. Now Flares looking to move himself inside a site. He's just very aware of split there, and the man that will be lurking inside, it's Users on the flank, as I suggested, manages to get smashed but shut down by a mission. 13 seconds left to go, and HellRaisers need to get themselves inside a site. Shut down by Nello once again on site, Des, but a mission this time with a trade. 1 versus 2. It's all up to Neo. Rush has to start getting that diffuser down. He can't come off it. Can Rush find his man? No! Shut down as he just peeks around that door, and that's going to be HellRaisers taking their first round.
It was a great read on where he was coming from as well. Wouldn't be terribly surprised if a drone had good insight into what was going on, but a good close to the round by HellRaisers, answering the question of, can they break this 3-round rotation that MNM have already pulled off once? They've won the site that many would consider the strongest defensive site on this map, and the one that MNM looked incredibly comfortable on. Going now in towards Master and Office, so exactly what we saw in round 2. This relied quite heavily on Tyrant getting his 3k around solo. That was what got MNM through that round in what looked like pretty torrid circumstances. So for MNM, it's got to be more solid, but for HellRaisers, they'll look to double up on the score they've got so far and really start driving themselves into this game.
Looking at MNM on Chalet so far inside of the Challenger League, we've seen them play it twice and it actually went to overtime both times. And interestingly, they were unable to win more than 2 defences in regulation previously in either of those matchups. So already bettering their previous defensive performance on Chalet, and right now looking to potentially even double it if they can win at least one of these remaining 2 rounds and get themselves 4 on the board. But that tells you if they're only getting 2 defensive rounds normally but go into overtime, it's because they win in 4 attacks. So if they can get themselves onto 4 or 5 here in this first half, boy oh boy do they have an advantage coming into the second.
That'd be nice. Let's see then what the setup is going to be. I have a good expectation that it's going to be another piano hold like we've seen historically, as well as maybe some difficulties being shown by the side of HellRaisers in getting that office wall opened up. Imagine Flares will look a little more intently at making sure it does get opened fully this time around, but also some awareness being given towards a potential solo take, which is where Smash is starting things out. Sometimes you'll see a couple of players hanging up on these windows just to try and provide a little bit of pressure and almost finding an early entry. Again, just half a second later, and that could have been an early death for the side of MNM.
That's it. Sometimes, as we said, you've just got to take those shots through the barricade. You know somebody's playing in that area, and it's an opportunity to try and catch them out. A mission just opening up those lines of sight. And once again, as we saw last time, HellRaisers able to get themselves inside of the map very, very quickly. MNM quite happy to give up this side of the map. Library mezzanine, that's fine. You can have it. You can breach the office wall because we're confident that you're not going to be coming back in through there. Now, I'm sure that Flares is going to be much more particular about that right-hand side this time around.
You'd hope so. For sure. This time around getting the whole thing opened up. I don't know if it's a bug, because I know G2 suffered from this at some point as well, where the wall wouldn't open despite doing it all. And I thought there was a little bit still connected at the top from what I could see, but it could have been linked to this, to be fair, the whole thing needing to be opened up rather than just across the top and across the bottom.
The work continues.
Ta-da!
And will be opened up. I mean, if nothing else, at least you don't need the soft breach on.
That's very true.
It takes the whole lot.
Very true. Don't need anything else to really assist you. You can do it all by yourself.
Tyrant off down in the basement.
Of course.
Not sure if they're aware of that.
Well, if you can find a kill from down there, then it would be miraculous to get it through 2 floors, for example. But it's more about the late round impact I'm looking for from him here. What he can do on this Rooney, which way he chooses to flank up, what kills he can find on it, we'll keep a close eye. That forest being put to great use so far as well, clearing out shields, the ADSs. There is still the bulletproof at the back, which I'm sure they'll be looking towards now to try and clear that away. And zapped out and disabled at least momentarily. They've still got the closer one as well, which I think they can disable it with again. Or no, it's just outright dead, because it was zapped while it was still alive, I think, rather than already deployed.
Smash will get the opener with a nade on Tonello. Tyrant's actually rotated back round and it looks like he's moving up through West Main and back towards site that way rather than playing on the flank. So maybe the opportunity was removed from him if he was spotted out by a drone. Oh! Double kill coming in from Smash. That's actually 3 with the explosives so far in the round. Mission manages to find users. Diffuser going down and it has fallen apart quickly for MNM Gaming here. And this could be yet another even half as we have HellRaisers coming in with a flawless round to bring us back to 3-2. We were 3-3 in the first half of Coastline, and in the second we were 3-3 in the first half of Clubhouse, and in the second. Could this get any closer? The answer is no, it can't, because we're potentially going to be 3-3 in the first half of Chalet as well.
It's ludicrous, isn't it? Honestly, ridiculous.
I'm living for it. I am living for this game.
And even worse that we can curse it. I said when MNM were at 3-0, like, okay, great, they're clearly on a roll here. I can't see HellRaisers winning these 3 sites after just losing all 3 of them. But they're making it work somehow. And I think in a fit of desperation, MNM have said, right, forget about the repeat. We're not going to go down into kitchen and dining. We are going to go into Snowmobile. And that is where this round will play out. There is no kite on side, so no crazy denials of walls here, no electrification, but a lot of lean in towards the Mute, the Mozzie, and the Vigil. So lots of intel denial coming in against HellRaisers, which means ideally you want to see MNM out in the map being disruptive and looking to catch them out before they can get set up for any executes.
Can we just give another shout to Smash there as well? 3 kills.
Does he need any more?
3 kills coming in from nades. It's also worth mentioning that there is the potential. Obviously, we've seen 1 kill record broken already this weekend with Citizen picking up 55 over 3 kills, which pretty much blew apart the 39 that it was previously, and almost beat the best of 5 record, which Des was 57. And we have 2 players that are racing towards it so far, Users and Smash, both on 31, I believe, coming into this map. So there is work for them both to do, but Smash on 9 kills already, with more maps to go. That 57 could well be broken today as well.
It could. Imagine that. 2 in the same weekend, 2 records broken, 1 held so far by Brits, and this one could be if Yuzu steps up.
We could have a couple of records coming back to the UK.
I mean, it's not quite a trophy, but it's a record that we'll happily take, I'm sure. Tyrant, I was going to say...
Oh, what a flick! What a flick! Take a bow, Tyrant!
How? Oh, Exodus had his number there and everything. He basically had him already painted on the back wall, but doesn't win the gunfight, and Tyrant with a wicked flick somehow manages to net a beautiful kill and keeps Bathroom clear. Flares back onto Solotov, so a 4 versus 4 sets in. I'm still reeling from that first kill, Tim.
Absolutely unreal. I think Tyrant might have damaged his wrist on that one. The whip that he came round with onto that bathroom window was just absolutely beautiful. You can see him just moving around. He's got the hatch open just to allow himself to get out of danger in dining should it present itself. He's going to be pushed by Smash and Flares pretty quickly. I think he's going to stick around with a bit of confidence, but he shouldn't have done, Des, because Flares finds him and gets HellRaisers an advantage, and they really have got the bit between the teeth at the minute.
Players with a little bit more confidence than Tyrant in that second gunfight, I think, and proves himself to be the victor out of who can cause the most chaos in the early round. We've still got 80 seconds to play with, of course, and for HellRaisers, all the focus has been on clearing out this roam game, which they have now successfully done, so they can start thinking about what does this execute look like, what hatches need to be opened up. The one inside of dining has been opened up because I believe MNM were using it to try and rotate back down to site, but unfortunately could not quite get the job done. 1 in Snowmobile, 1 in Wine, 1 playing off towards the blue stairs. They've got quite a spread here so far, MNM, just to try and see exactly where the first point of resistance needs to be created.
A mission just looking for a little bit of verticality here, but also conscious of the potential for the rotation up those main stairs. Now then, Users is in a position to make a challenge on the flank should the opportunity to provide itself. I think he's just waiting here, just waiting for those final 20 seconds. At the point where HellRaisers have no choice but to push directly towards site, that is his moment to try and push forward if there's anybody playing in that main lobby. But HellRaisers have rotated themselves out towards the back. They're working from trench and electrical, trying to get themselves inside a site. But Nello, he's there, deployable shield, ADSs, he's got all the utility he needs. Smoke canisters are going out. You can see the ADSs working just to try and keep him in position. He will be flashed out, but MNM keep themselves fighting. 8 seconds left to go. HellRaisers, I don't think they've got a way in, although yes, Rush has managed to get in there and can think about getting a diffuser down, but no,
what?
Somehow the diffuser doesn't go down. They don't even make an attempt, and MNM win based on time.
That could be the kicker. That's what breaks our spree. You've ruined it for us, boys. MNM win the half, 4-2. Again, you might look back at that towards the end of this map and be saying that really should have been around, that HellRaisers could have won. A little bit of miscommunication maybe, whatever went down. It means they lose the round, even when Nello was staring at 3 players pushing him through smoke. Into the second half we go, and we kick things off in Master and Office. HellRaisers staking their claim there, and indeed leaning in towards the Kaid, same as we saw from MNM back in the first half. I did theory that we might see that come out a number of times, as we saw back on Coastline. So quite a present operator throughout this series, and another one that's starting to bubble up in popularity is the Twitch. Yuzu's jumping onto it this time round.
I'm really interested to see the end of that round back again, because there was an attempt for a couple of seconds for the diffuser to go down. We had the gold card pop up to show us that it was initially going down. Absolute beauty from Tyrant. Gets challenged from the window, just sees his man. Look at that, straight away, bang.
The wrist breaker.
Onto the headshot. But it was so strange because the diffuser was in sight because there was an attempt to put it down. Rush picked it, Rush had it in hand, but with 4 or 5 seconds left to go, I'm sort of staring at this diffuser on the player card and thinking it's going to turn gold. They're going to go for the defeat. Like, you know, you've got to make an attempt. And the thing is, I know that the position might not have been favourable. I know they might have been being challenged by the players that were left, but it doesn't matter. If time runs out, you're done. You know, you might as well hold F and just hope that even if you're being challenged through the smoke or anywhere else, no matter what is going on, just hold F and hope for the best. Hope your other players, your teammates manage to get the kills. Hope that the bullets miss you, you know, whatever it is, because you've definitely lost if you don't.
And that's what they were doing as well. They were looking to push into the smoke and challenge Nello, who was sat on that pillar corner, but Alas, these things happen sometimes. Let's just hope it isn't enough to ruin the map for HellRaisers. MNM, once again, in nice and quick. Solotov leading the charge, as we've seen many times. Earlier on, I compared it to what we see coming out of Na'Vi. It wouldn't surprise me, as I know a number of the players are friends on both teams. Often Doki will have drones at his feet. On this team, it's Solotov getting much the same treatment, but he has been pretty quiet in this map so far. Only 2 and 6.
Vision just holding a tight angle, quite aggressive on the mirror there, playing right up against the main lobby wall. He's got a mirror in place on there with a soft wall next to it, so he can challenge outwards, but that mirror should be reasonably easily dealt with because you move in there and take the melee hit on it. You just need to be careful about what's going on behind, but with the angle that Solotov has opened up, you would hope that you can keep the mirror from making that challenge. Now then, he is going to take a little bit of damage. He sees his man, takes a few shots, there's a little bit exchanged, but Exodus manages to just keep himself safe in behind that half wall. Solotov knows he's there now, but he's not going to take that challenge any further. Emission gets himself tight up against that mirror, but as soon as they're in above him, he's going to have to move away.
There we go now. Neo's turn to try and tackle the insurmountable wall that many before him have struggled with. Clearly looking to get the whole thing opened up here in exactly the same fashion as we saw coming out of Flares, and I believe it was even Emission before him as well. But with this opened up, it does give you, of course, direct access in towards the site itself, and you can start squaring up for an execute behind that half wall. It does rely on the rest of your team to do a little bit of work, though, and force the defenders further back in towards these two sites. And yeah, Neo's having much the same problem. One more, little bit. There we go.
All sorted. I think we did hear during that the mirror window was actually opened up. I think it was the one underneath the breach there on the main wall. Oh no, it was the one next to it that's just going to force them out. Yep, that one's still in place. Okay, so Emission able to just continue playing in and around that bomb chassis, in and around that default plant spot, something MNM need to deal with. And they can deal with that by getting themselves established in office and opening up the floor, so they've got a view from above. But there's a couple of problems in trying to do that, and that comes in the shape of these HellRaiser players. One in bedroom, one in piano at the moment, and they've been unable to move them so far. Out comes the Toxic Babe to try and prevent access, and there's a lot of utility stacked up against them. There's MNM. They're not even pushing onto site yet.
Oh, shot as well coming out from Smash, and I was going to say a second ago, you know, they've committed all this utility and then been forced back by a smoke canister, so perfect timing coming out of HellRaisers to deny the access they need. Nello's going to have to go deep here, look to step inside, but then back straight back out away because yet another smoke has landed at his feet. Going to have one more attempt to make this work. They've got no more smokes to play behind, so it's that to be here and now. Tyrant finds one. Rush with the great C4 coming in. The clock hits 0 and the plant is going down. They need one shot and the shot from below will be enough. HellRaisers closing it out.
Never dealt with the man underneath, as I said. They sort of opened up the holes, but they just couldn't really get that final push towards site. They had the access that they needed, but it was just not enough for MNM. HellRaisers taking a successful first defense, and once again, MNM just a little bit too slow. It's something that we've seen over the last couple of maps when they've been attacking. They sort of have this little bit of a stall whereby they just can't get over that final line. They can't remove those obstacles. That's been the big thing for me. We talked about it on courseline, not getting the vertical control. Here it comes down to verticality again, but this time it's not clearing underneath. It's not going in and doing enough about that mirror that is causing them such a problem downstairs. Sort of trying to ignore it almost. We can't get rid of it, so just ignore it, but it's losing them rounds.
And they picked up a C4 kill for free as well from Rush, if you remember. Just sat down there, no problem. Was like, okay, freebie C4, you guys aren't pushing me. I'll make sure this ends badly for you. And ultimately, the end of the round itself also ending very badly. MNM still, of course, sat at 4 and 3 because of that 4-2 first half. So it's not like losing that one round is the end of the world. But does it spell good things for the rest of this half when you've already lost out quite convincingly on the first attacking round? Maybe not.
Here we go then. Round number 8. We're going to be down into kitchen and dining. Very similar defence likely to come out from HellRaisers, just with a little bit less focus. Just with the flip reverse of it. A little bit less focus on the top floor and a little bit more on the mid floor, whereas last time it was the reverse of that. They're going to set up pretty similar. You've got the double reinforcement down on the wall to main lobby, double reinforcement from office balcony through into office, and they're just going to try to hold on to the entire north side of the map. They're going to allow MNM into live. They're going to allow them potentially into main lobby, but from there, that's where the brick wall goes up, and they try to prevent them going anywhere further than that.
Alrighty, we've seen this one so many times. When we first saw this, actually, we were like, ooh, we like this.
Yeah.
It started out with sledge players getting on top of the car and just smashing that open so you could see the stairs. Then teams were like, wait, we can bring a book and we can open up basically everything. You can get from downstairs all the way up to the half wall point at the top of the solar stairs, and that just makes it a lot harder for the defenders to play around that position, to push down the stairs, to do a wide variety of things. It makes it quite easy for you to then take solar if you so desire it. Now, they have got a couple of members on Repel. Solotov feels like he has done the work required and forced those defenders away, so maybe now he'll go and join the rest of his team on the push through this north side.
Smash just taking out that drone utility, moving back slowly from Solarium, but still in a position to be able to challenge. HellRaisers not wanting to give up too much ground here. We can see as Exodus and Smash just drop back a little bit. Solarium is open for MNM, but they will certainly take a challenge if they try to come in through there. Out comes the Nitro out of the window, just trying to catch Usus on that double repel. It's a really nice angle from Kitchen by opening up the soft floor, but Usus, he's alert to it and he gets himself out of the way and finds himself a freebie onto Smash from the double window. And that is HellRaisers just getting themselves caught out a little bit by a man that they knew was there.
It's very common to see a run out coming out of the front door as well, but no one really positioned for HellRaisers to do that. So yes, Yuzu's being attentive, but nothing really to be concerned about as no one yet hanging out that way. A mission arguably the closest, but on the sheer basis, this whole wall has been reinforced off and electrified. Probably goes to suggest that no one on HellRaisers will be playing much further south than that. With the C4 missing, with the freedom to now play on that big window in session, MNM have got a lot of control on this top floor.
Exodus still in place though and looking to fight with the Aruni, getting aggressive on towards that double window, but not enough to give users the opportunity to challenge him. So Exodus again playing this pretty well, although MNM look like they may be circumventing this part of the defense pretty well as Tyrant manages to find the kill onto Rush and pressure can start to mount towards site, but Exodus up on that top floor, I pointed him out and now he has made more than a nuisance of himself getting a kill. What a shot from Tyrant. He's having an absolute tear here on Chalet, but it's Exodus once again, the problem that hasn't been dealt with on the top floor.
But the man I'm looking at here is Usus. He rotated himself off that window down to the front door and managed to crawl his way in towards site. Not that it matters, he hasn't had to find the kills just yet, but it's Exodus still up on this top floor, hoping to catch the man with a diffuser in arms, and it's Tyrant. They've got a yellow ping. I don't know if he can find the angle. Will he be able to see it? I don't think he can, but if he can get just a spray down here, goes for the spray, but it's the tiniest second too late. He finds 2 kills. It's a 1 versus 1. He'll have to get the clean ace here and the defuse, and he's got about 25 seconds to play this 1v1 against Solotov.
Exodus so close to stopping that plant going down, but it all comes down to this. Both are injured, both are looking. The shot is there, but no! Solotov manages to take the re-peek and find his man, even after damaged on the long angle. Unreal. What a finish to round number 8. Solotov able to drag it over the line. Exodus will be feeling rightly unlucky there. A great double kill from above from him to stop that plant almost. But it just went down in the nick of time.
It's half a second too late. I feel like he was a bit too concerned with getting the line of sight there where...
Start shooting.
That's it. Just shoot. Just shoot, brother. I swear I've screened that on this map before a couple of times, and that will, again, be one of those cases where it would have been a deserved few words associated with it. But for MNM, it's a round 1. It's what they need. I can't believe I'm here and saying this again. Guess what the score is, Ace?
It's 5-3, yeah, it's 5-3 to MNM.
It is, mate. And what normally happens when it's 5-3 to MNM?
HellRaisers get 3 rounds.
They do, and what happens after that?
It goes to overtime.
Oh, yes, it does, mate. That's really weird, that, isn't it? It could well happen again, but HellRaisers have got to put it out the bag here. They were very close in that last round. Not to say they can't do it, but MNM still have the lead, at least for now.
I've got to say, looking at how this map has gone so far, I
lean towards MNM.
I lean towards MNM doing this.
In the same way I led towards like HellRaisers on Coastline.
Obviously, we joke about, we've seen this before, twice so far. Do I think we get a 3-peat? I'm not sure that we do.
But I said this in the last map and we got there anyway.
I know, it's possible, but I just feel like MNM have had an extra 10% here on Chalet. I really do. I feel like they're starting to find the stride a little bit, starting to hit them shots, win those fights. Solotov just then, 1v1, he even gets hit. He gets hit with some damage and still manages to come back and win the fight. I just feel like they've just got that edge at the minute.
I think Exodus hesitated because he only fired the 1 bullet as well. If that was a spray, and he had the good recoil control. That could well have been the kill onto Solotov that he was looking for.
It's fine
or at
margins.
the very least, yeah, at the very least a down, which would have ended the round anyway, or would have put in a spot where he could have then got the defuse off and forget about completing the kill. A small moment of hesitation. We've already seen that a couple of times on Cosign earlier, where Nello was in a 1 versus 1, didn't spray a full mag, fired 2 or 3 shots and then stopped, and then ate a shotgun blast into the face. So small moments separating so many of these rounds. And think about what we said earlier about that last round of the first half. Oh, HellRaisers really should have won that. What we're saying about the last round, oh, HellRaisers really could have won that. That's 2 rounds on this map where if HellRaisers had won, it would be them at 5-3 and not MNM. But look at this, Tim. They're looking to charge their way through the lobby stairs here as well and could cause a little bit of chaos if unexpected. The man is on mezzanine. They've got the right idea, but he's not quite in the right spot. Open up splits, so you can see the angle up there if so desired. They see the man up on the vertical. They know what's going on, and both are now backing themselves away, convinced that they've at least shook HellRaisers a bit. They can't play in split, and mezzanine suddenly doesn't look so safe either.
That's it. It's just at this point about getting in the heads of HellRaisers and just making their life difficult. Now then, there is a man just crouched in the corner of Library here, and the pressure's going to mount very quickly. He's actually managed to dash for the hatch and get himself back down. Nade's going to go in, not going to do any damage or have the impact that MNM are hoping for there. A lot of damage onto Exodus. That gets us underway. 1 minute 20 left to go, and MNM, as I say, they feel like there's a fire just been lit underneath them, Des. Tyrant, he lights up a fire underneath Exodus as he drops a nade on top of him. That's going to give them the opener. 5 versus 4, 5
Tyrant
versus
again.
3. Tyrant goes in this time. Headshot onto Smash. Tyrant is having a tear on Chalet.
That's what you need as well. I mean, yes, Yuzus hasn't been super noisy on this map, but Tyrant sat at 11 kills, some big frags, but Flares on the 1 peak. Also having yet another great map here. Yes, his kills aren't great, but when he has found them, they've been impactful. And Mission finds 1. The 3 versus 3 is back in session, and suddenly MNM's advantage was wiped out, and then it's re-established. 2 more kills swinging in. Solotov's in and going for the plant. Rush has got to cut it all out here. A C4 coming in, but he got shot out. That's unfortunate. Will find himself 1, but has got to kill 2, and we all know how hard it is to retake this position. He's got 1 coming up through lobby. There's 1 on the upside down rappel outside, and Rush, I think, at a bit of loss of choice on what to do here. He's going to try and stick on this defuse, but it's very easy for Neo to swing in on this window and close this round out. Nope, Yuzu steals it. MNM take a round and move to match point. It's 6-3.
There was, as a planter at heart, as a support player at heart, the cover there was to die for. Out comes the nitro from Rush, and pop, it gets shot immediately and allows Solotov to get that diffuser down. You're into the post plant, you've got the round all but 1. It was an essential play, as good as any headshot that we've seen so far.
What people don't see at home is where you looked when you said that cover is to die for. You looked across the studio at Jack and stared him straight in the eyes and said,
He's my cover.
Is your cover?
He is my cover.
That was kind of the look of, is he the cover or is he not the cover normally?
Oh,
what is he?
No, Fresh. I trust Fresh to cover me, absolutely.
All right.
We're a dynamic duo inside of ranks.
See, my experience
We get that diffuser down.
My experience with Fresh is charging through a window, die somewhere else on the map where everyone else is and wonder what the hell's going on. I feel like we see 2 very different sides of Fresh here,
I think
Tim.
we probably do.
Clearly, he just said to me, I like playing with Tim. That's why.
That's the big difference.
He likes throwing my elo, apparently. Fantastic and nice to know. Let's get into it then. We're into round 10. It is match point to MNM. 6-3 in case you missed that score at the top of your screen. It's a series that's really starting to fire up. And again, we said back in Coastline that HellRaisers, to me at least, felt like the team that really deserved the win on that map. And sure, they walked away with the win in the end. But even throughout it, when it was a 3-3 half, I really felt they should have got more out of that first half. As the series has worn on, MNM have warmed into it. We also said that back in the first half, that inexperience, the tiredness might start to really rattle through. You know, the experience of having Nello on side, I think, who's been through several of those situations before, is really going to help MNM here the longer this series goes on. But let's not count out players like Smash, like Flares, like Exodus, who have had some brilliant times. Body block onto the mirror window. Will not get zapped out, and Mission will lose a bit of HP for his troubles.
Very unfortunate for the Twitch Twitch have used us there. Just right place, right time, just unable to hit that shot as Emission unknowingly steps across in front of it, and that could prove essential. Keeping that mirror in place, if you remember, last time MNM attacked onto Master and Bedroom in round 7, it was Emission underneath that was able to finish things off, to use that vertical play. They never were able to move him, and it really was a thorn in the side of MNM. So a big, albeit unknowingly, play from Emission coming in there to keep that mirror in place.
Oh, Special's almost getting himself blasted out there, down to below half HP. Not the ideal start in the round you're looking for. Tyrant almost losing his life in the process, but of course a nice advantage that they've got in this round is they have got the Thinker who can juice him back up. In this case, he is the Thinker, juicing himself back up and killing Smash in the process. What a wonderful map this is turning into for Tyrant.
It really is. He's stepping up. I won't call him the saviour because MNM weren't lost at that point, but
Tyrants aren't normally saviours, Tim.
No, he's really been the catalyst, if nothing else, here on Chalet, finding those kills and just giving MNM the confidence, it feels like. He's been the engine room. He's been the driving force behind this team pushing forward. He's been the difference between a 3-3 half and a 4-2 half, and that is exactly what MNM needed to find. Now then, the Twitch going in once again, clearing off Electroclaws and just allowing that little bit more access to site. Now then, doesn't take a shot, just feeding back information in.
If he could have got, this is what he's looking for. I think he really wants the one on the other side of the office wall here. Now they're going to open up the north side, which may well bait a bit of attention in from HellRaisers. Knowing that the Thermite is on this side of the map, you worry less about the wall to the south being opened up, unless of course Neo gets on the wall and just starts tearing it open in the fashion we've seen so far throughout the entire game from both teams. So with north side opened up and south side, this is when HellRaisers start to feel the pressure.
Still got a mission underneath, something that they need to think about.
Time though.
Has the Nitro in hand, as you say, 30 seconds left to go. Diffuser down on the ground
He's
at
dropped
the minute.
it, yeah.
He's dropped it so that he can push in, and he's going to push in successfully. Nello managing to find the kill onto the Kaid. Now then gets himself a second on flares, and right now, Des, this is a Nello round. He's absolutely picked HellRaisers apart. It's 4 versus 2, and MNM are looking to get themselves a win here on Chalet. 13 seconds left to go. Solotov finds one. Neo's getting the Diffuser down. It's all up to Exodus. Can he find him? He knows where it's going down. He gets the kill, and the trade comes in to close out the round. If Exodus isn't found on that crossfire, then maybe that round looks differently, but it doesn't matter because the kill is found. MNM do manage to get the win on Chalet, this time in regulation, and they give themselves a big advantage heading into Villa.
I love how he just drops the Diffuser and goes, guys, I don't plant anymore, I frag out. 2 big kills coming in from Nello. A pretty